Hey everybody, Tori with H&T.
Hawk coming back at you again.
Today is Box Mod
Vlog Day. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So today we're going to talk about the Sigelei 100.
Sigelei 150.
And the IPV3
by Pioneer Food.
We're going to do a little comparison between the three of them and then give you our opinions. As always, these are only our opinions. They have no bearing in reality whatsoever.
Well, our reality they do, but
yeah.
It has a bearing in your reality. Bonus.
Bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
Opinions. So we're going to do a little comparison contrast thing and see which ones that we like better. And for the guys that have been watching the videos, you already know we did the review on the IPV, so this is not a review. This is a comparison because we're actually going to talk about the difference between them, not actually break them all down. Although we are going to get a little up close look.
Yeah, get an up close
just
look.
So they can see the amount of damage we did to them.
Yeah, forewarning, when we put these through the ringer room, we test this stuff and do a review to check it out. Some people
don't, but that's on them.
Some people do a short test drive. We do more like a short lease.
Yeah.
Yeah, short lease. Yeah. Me personally, I don't know how other people do it. Me personally, I'm not going to know if a piece of equipment, whether it be a box mod, a mechanical, a tank, or a dripper, or an RTA. I do not like RTAs. You don't 6 to 12 hours isn't going to tell you if it's going to be any good or not.
Well, it's not going to tell us.
It's not going to tell us.
It's not going to tell us. We want to drag it around and drop it on the deck a couple of times.
Yeah.
See what kind of abuse it can take.
Yeah, see what kind of abuse it can take. See how it holds up. See how it leaks. See if the buttons get mushy or anything like that. And sometimes that's why we have such a delay on some of our reviews, because we want to make sure that information we're putting out there is the best information that we can from our experience.
Yeah, and we're not concerned about being the first guy out of the box either.
No.
Because for us, it's about durability as well as usability.
Durability, usability, just good equipment, reasonable cost.
Yep. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
So then we've got we've got a couple of shout outs coming. We've got some activism stuff. CASAA's been sending out some heads up. There's a thought that Grim Green put out.
Okay.
And so I watched his videos, and for the guys that don't know who Grim Green is, it's Nick. He runs grimgreen.com. And we'll put a link to his YouTube channel down in here as well, so that you can go check out that thought process for that particular video, because
he's a real cool guy.
Yeah, he's done a lot, and we'll talk about him when we get back up to that part. So
yeah, I think that's about it. We're gonna get up close and personal on these things and do a short overview on them, and then come back and give you our opinions on them. See you in a second.
All right, welcome back. So here we go. We have the Sigelei 100, the Sigelei 150, and the IPV3. So here's what we got. All of them are box mods. This is a 100 watt, this is a 150 watt, and this is a 150 watt. Okay? As you can tell, they are all pretty much exactly the same. Okay? So you have your fire button, you have your up and down for your wattage. And that one's kind of got a little bit of a glare on it, so we'll see what we can't do. There we go. We're just going to tilt it a little bit because we got a weird glare going on. So I got the fire button, the up and down for the wattage, and then of course your display screen. On the 150, it is exactly the same. Fire button, up and down, and then the display screen. And then on the IPV, exactly the same. Fire button, up and down. Okay, with all of them, they all lock by holding the up and down wattage buttons. Okay, the IPV, of course, was disabled, so the little touch sensor does not work. And then, of course, the little charging port in the back. Let's just flip that over so you can see it. So the little charging port in the back also does not function. Okay. Now here's the thing with these. Okay, and let me flip this one over so we can get to it. So here's the predominant difference, other than the wattage, okay, is the Sigeleis come with the magnetic backs. They just pop off, okay, and then the IPV is the one that, of course, requires the little pin to unscrew the little screws, which was, if you watched the video on the IPV, you'll notice that was one of my, hey, that's kind of inconvenient, but it's not a deal breaker because, well, I just, I have tools and, I'll figure it out. But that's one of the things that I didn't like about it was that, and I thought about actually drilling that out and putting magnets in it. You can see I did not drill that out and put magnets in it, okay? But the Sigelei did. Now, one of the chief things that we like about the Sigelei is the fact that the magnetic covers set flush. So when you drop them on the ground, which we have, you can tell by the scarring, that the little backs generally do not pop out. Okay, the IPV, of course, would not pop off because it screws into place, and so it's kind of there. Inconvenience-wise, this one doesn't charge because unless you have the little weird charger, which it does not come with, you can't charge the batteries in the bay. And of course, these two are not chargeable in the bay either. You have to take them off of the sled and put them on a charging unit. Okay. So that's a basic overview of what they look like, and so we're just going to go back up top and sit down and talk about them for a minute. We're not actually going to look at the displays or anything because that wasn't we're not actually doing a review. If you want to see a review, you're like, well, we really would want to see a review on one of these, then, you can just leave us a comment and we'll come back and actually talk about, functionality and stuff like that. Well, we may talk about a little bit of functionality when we get back in the up and front. So
one thing is important on these, all of these have venting on the bottom right here for the batteries, just in case your battery overheats. As you can see, they all have venting right there. So just in case you have a battery failure, it does have vent, and that's another safety thing about it as well.
You know what else we can say? Well, I'm thinking about that because you said that is the 510 connector. So all of the 510 connectors are spring loaded. So you just press on them, and you'll see they're all spring loaded. And then, as you can tell, of course, the
Sigelei 100 is not spring loaded.
Really?
It's manual adjust.
Oh, I did not know that. The 150 is spring loaded.
Okay.
Well, then we can talk about that while we're down in the. We'll come back up to the up top version. Okay. So let's go back up top and we'll get a look at it and talk about it for a minute.
All right, guys, and we are back. That was we're back up top. That was a quick overview of the 3 different mods. I'm using my Sigelei 100 right here.
Running the Sigelei 150.
And then we've got the IPV3.
Which has not seen a lot of use.
Has not seen a lot of use since he got the 150. Primarily because of the magnetic back.
Yes.
That's really the only reason I think he got this, because the magnetic back, the convenience to just pop and go.
It is.
And that's one thing about the 150, the 100 that I like. It's got the magnetic back, and you can screw it. So you can screw it in place.
You can put the screws in it?
Yes. you can screw it in place. For those of you that are dirty-minded like him, you can secure the back to the mod with screws that are provided.
This one doesn't.
No, that one doesn't.
Just magnets.
Just magnets.
I did not know that post was not spring-loaded. So the Sigelei 150 does not, the 100, the Sigelei 100 does not have a spring-loaded center contact for the 510 connector.
Correct. And the adjustment pin for the 100 is reverse threaded.
Ah.
Yeah. So when you think you're screwing it in, you're actually screwing it out. When you're screwing it out, you're screwing it in, and it does come with replacements as well.
Very good. So that's something. Now we know. There's another difference. Screen-wise, the screen is good. I like the screen. It has your wattage, it has your battery life, it has your voltage on it, and it has your ohm on it.
Pretty much looks exactly
like that.
Let's see if it'll focus on it. And it's not
probably not going to focus on it. Yeah, you're not going to get that to focus. You got too much going on.
Yeah, it's not going to focus, but it gives you your wattage reading, your voltage reading, your battery percent reading, and of course your atomizer resistance. The 100 is good down to 0.15 ohms.
The 150 is good down to 0.1 ohms.
And with that's the IPV3. The IPV3 is good to 0.1 ohms, but according to Pioneer for You, but their software update is good to 0.08 ounce for those of you that are super sub-ohming.
which I have not done.
It is upgradable.
Because it has a data port. You can go and watch the original video. It's got a data port in the bottom, and it does come with its own cable to do the updates and stuff. But I never updated this because, honestly, I don't need to vape at 0.08. I don't need to.
Don't have a need for it.
No, yeah. The lowest I go is 0.3. I'm rocking a 0.3 platinum on this one.
No, I'm rocking a 0.4 single coil, triple twist 26 gauge.
So you can build some decent coils on them. I mean, depending on your RDA, obviously, you can build some pretty cool coils.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about what we do and what we don't like. So in the IPV, my only objection, of course, was the screws in the back, because you have to take them out to actually change out your batteries, because the little charging port that it has, they don't send a charger with it, and as far as I know, no one's made one for it either. Somebody said at one point in time that you could use like an old Nokia phone charger with it, but I don't know anything about that, and I'm one of those kind of people, if I don't know, I don't do it, because I don't want to screw something up. I believe in being safe, and
He
so
doesn't
for
want to let
me,
the magic smoke out.
yeah, do not want to let the magic smoke out. So for me, I never did it, and I probably will never do it, especially since I have the 150. Everybody saw the video for the Doppo Mini 50, which was my favorite go-to after my mech, because I'm still a mech mod freak. I just love my
He's a
mech.
mech mod freak, but this has been in his hands every day for the last 3 weeks.
4 weeks now.
4 weeks.
Going on 4 weeks now. So, and I run it. I mean, I drag this son of a bitch everywhere. And I've thrown it on the ground a couple of times, and it holds up good. I have yet to have the cover actually pop off. Those magnets are pretty good magnets. Pretty snaps in there. So, and I like the fact that the edges are burnished off on it, so it's not sharp anywhere in your hand, So it's got a good feel to it. I do know that some people were having a problem with the fire button backing out on them. I have drugged this thing all over the universe. I jam it in my pocket. I throw it on the ground. It rides in a cup holder, and I have yet to have that button back on.
I've not had. I have a Sigelei as well, and we have the same buttons. I've had this one for 3 months, easy. This is my personal. I have yet to have any issues with the buttons or the switches or anything like that. The only thing that they could do to really improve it would be chamfer the edges a little bit more like it is on the 150. Other than that, I mean, it suits my purposes. I don't have a need to go up to 150 watts. I never have.
I don't have a need either. I just wanted it.
Yeah. No. It's got some it's got a lot of battle damage on it, actually. It fell out of my second story window 2 days ago, in fact, and it survived. I mean, the back popped off, and the batteries went flying out, but functionality, and it's got the scarring for it. The functionality, it works as advertised. I haven't had any issues with it. And that's a pretty severe drop.
Yeah.
So
2 stories.
Yeah, from the second story window, that's a pretty severe drop. So, it's pretty tough. Don't go chunking it out of windows, second story windows, and say, hey, he said it'll work, because it might be a fluke. Because most things won't survive that.
Yeah.
Anything, anything has electrical components, unless it's specifically built for that, it's not going to survive that. But yeah, it's a good solid piece of equipment. I like it, and when it goes into its sleep mode, it wakes right back up.
That's one thing I do like about it.
I mean, it wakes up just like that.
I like it because unlike the Mini 50, you don't have to, hey, start up again. It literally just wakes back up when you push the button. And I like that. That's why I like my mech mod so much, because there's no delay between I push the button and I get to vape. And I enjoy that immensely. So as far as they go, price-wise, they're all relatively the same. You can pick up a Sigelei 150 for around about 120 bucks. You can get a 100 for around about 100 and something. The only one that's expensive is the Pioneer one, and it's around about 150, depending on where you get it. You can get a little bit lower. I would not pay more. But it just depends on where you go to get it. And the price on some of these has come down a little bit, so that's good. Spec-wise, they're all almost identical. The only difference is the low end of what you can build on them. I mean, they're box mods. They're regulated box mod, and I know a lot of people are moving towards the regulated devices. I personally, I'm just going to have to keep running my mech because I like it that it's tiny and I can jam it in my pocket and go. Box mod's a little bit bigger, but
He likes tiny things.
I do. Can't help it. So that's what we've got as far as the box mods go and the versing of the box mods. Okay, so humble opinion. In my humble opinion, they are all really good pieces of equipment. They all do exactly what they're supposed to do, which is make the vapor, and they all function fairly similar. I mean,
they're all almost exactly the same, with the exception of the minor differences in the, like
aesthetics.
You said, aesthetics and what you can build. I mean, when you're talking about a 0.15 to a 0.1 ohm, they're all almost the same. It's just the 100 goes up to 100 watts. These two go up to 150.
Not that I would vape 150. We had that discussion once.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, one time just so I can say,
just so you can say you did it.
But I wanted 150 watts because every now and again I like to go someplace and talk to people, and the next thing you know, somebody's like, check this out. And then of course I've got 150 watts right there, and I'm like, okay, well, check this out. So it's just it's just one of those things. So that's what we've got. So for you guys that came for the box mod section of it, it's like our review section. We have hit the end of that. That's where we're at. If you have comments or you wanted to see something a little more explained, you can always leave us a comment down in the bottom, and we may actually sit down and do a full review for the Sigelei's. They've been done to death. So probably not, but if you wanted to see it, you can just leave us some comments down in the down below, or shoot us a quick email or something like that, and we'll be happy to actually throw it down on the deck and get an up close and personal look at it. Okay?
That's
what we got.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got. So for those of you that were here for the comparative,
it's done.
It's done, and now it's vape time, talk smack time, call out.
Get our shout outs out.
Yeah, get our shout outs out and
talk some smack.
Yeah, talk some smack. So for those of you that were here for the comparison,
done.
Peace.
Okay, now for the smack talky portion of the program. So first off, for our shout outs, okay, we've got some new subscribers, and I don't actually have everybody's name. That's my bad. So for you guys that actually shot me a message and said, hey, give me a shout out, dude, I'm a horrible person. I'm sorry. I think his name is Sam. I'm not positive. So hey, shoot me another message, dude. My bad. I lost that email. I don't have it anymore. For our new subscribers, the guys that just came on board, hey, we appreciate you signing up. Feel free to leave us some more comments. We love hearing from people. I would like to actually talk about, that's our shout out section, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got anybody?
No, I don't have anybody right now.
Very good. Okay, so there's our shout out section. So what I actually wanted to talk about today, other than some activism stuff, is a comment, I guess, a discussion that was started by Grim Green. And Grim Green, in not his last vlog, but the previous vlog, I think it was on, I think it was the one for 16, I think is his blog. He actually discusses some information that he stumbled across about big tobacco and vaping. It turns out that the two major tobacco companies here in America have purchased some vaping companies. One of them is Blue, and I don't remember who the other guy is. And they're getting into the discussion now where they're actually talking about it. And the line of discussion that he started was, as vapers who have been struggling against big tobacco, do we want to partner up with big tobacco and let them, basically throw their money at this issue as well? And that made me think, and I got to thinking about that. And I don't know, to me, okay, I don't know that I'm opposed to that. It doesn't bother me because I didn't smoke because I thought it was healthy for me, ever. There was never a time when I lit a cigarette and I thought to myself, well, this is healthy, okay? I am not one of those people. I started smoking when I was very young, and I at no time in the universe ever thought that it was not bad for me. Okay. So I smoked because A, it was a habit, and B, that was where I got my nicotine from. Now I don't have that issue because I can get my nicotine from my vapor product, and I know that the carcinogens that are released by a cigarette are caused because of combustion, and
Not to mention additives.
and the additives. Okay, and so now. I don't have that issue, and so I'm not opposed to Big Tobacco pitching their money into it. Big Tobacco has been trying to find a way for years to get nicotine out to the public because that's their business at the end of the day. Okay, and they've been trying to find a way to do it without all the additional carcinogens. And you know what? I don't have a problem with them pitching their money into the ring, getting behind vaping products, because at the end of the day, if we can get rid of combustible cigarettes, if we can kill an analog cigarette, then I'm all for that, because this is a better solution. There's been some research that's been done on this. I think it's BCM or BMC or something like that. Just did a lung research paper that they put out that showed that vaping is 96% less harmful than cigarette smoke because it's not combustible. There's nothing burning here. So if you're burning your cotton and breathing that, stop it. You're doing it wrong. That's not how it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
Not to mention it tastes really nasty and it hurts.
Yeah, nobody wants a dry hit. That's horrible stuff. So if you're doing that, don't do that. Okay, but the research is weighing in on our side as vapors. Okay, we're winning this charge. Hopefully, we're getting out and doing the activism work that we need to be doing to help the FDA and our local governments realize that this is a better alternative. Okay, I'm still up in the air as to where you should be allowed to vape, because I have to, the more I think about it, and this is an ongoing thing. I mean, if you're not thinking about this, then think about it. I'm still kind of up in the air as to where we should be allowed to vape. And the reason is because I like the convenience of being able to vape in places where I can't smoke. But the fact of the matter is some people are right. We don't know what's going to happen in 65 years. Okay? And we should not be inflicting our habit on other people. All right? Do I enjoy the convenience of it? Yes. Should we be doing it? I don't know. That's a whole other discussion. I don't know. I'm just going to have to go with I don't know, because I do enjoy the convenience of it, but I don't know, you know? So that's a whole nother line.
Well, let me step in on this one. Should we be doing it? According to current research, it is much less risky than combustible tobacco. So based on for that, if you're gonna do it, either one, vaping is the way to go. You're still introducing an unnatural substance into the body. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So for those of you that don't smoke, we're not saying you need to pick it up and that this is safe.
Well, nobody's saying this is safe. We're saying this is less risky than traditional Tabasco. Tabasco?
Tabasco.
Tabasco. Yeah, you shouldn't smoke Tabasco anyways.
Tabasco burns too. The other thing was with Big Tobacco coming on board on our side, if you will, joining ranks, becoming allies with them. Potential long term, I've got some concerns. What's to say that we end up prevailing and there's good judgment regulations, but what's to say that what's going to prevent them from trying to do a hostile takeover?
Well, I thought about that,
because they've got buckets of money,
and I thought about that because they were doing a hey, here's the future of vaping, and they were showing those little cigarettes,
Yeah.
And I thought about that for a minute. So if Big Tobacco pitches in and starts throwing boatloads of money at it, and we come out on top, and they say, okay, so now here's what the market's going to look like, and they start passing out those little cigarettes,
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop this.
Well, no, what I'm saying,
because I can make this.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll make it.
Anybody's got any kind of ability to follow instructions can YouTube how to build this. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you really can't stop it. And the things that make up e-juice, those are already regulated by the FDA because they're all food products. Vegetable glycerin, okay, polyglycol, flavor, and nicotine, and they're all already regulated. So we already know how to purchase those things anyway. So you can purchase them yourself. So you really, if they say this is it. Okay, well, if you want to buy that, you go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll build one of these. Look. For you guys who are bored, it's a 10. It has a MOSFET switch on it, a 510 connector, and an 18650 sled. Takes two 18650s in parallel. Vape's great. It's no problems at all. So you really can't stop it because
you can't stop it. But but I guess what I'm saying is, what's to say down the road that they don't end up backing tighter restrictions on juice manufacturing that's cost prohibitive for the smaller guys.
We're going to have a disagreement
where they've got boatloads of money. I could potentially see them doing it because that's honestly the cornerstone of the market is not the hardware.
It's the juice.
It's the juice. That's the cornerstone of the market. So what's to prevent them from saying, hey, now that we're in on the game and we've got these billions of dollars, we're going to lobby for restrictions that are so tight that only we can afford to produce it.
Well,
I can see that. I can potentially see that.
Well, okay, but see, that's the thing, and I think that looking at it from the standpoint of, how does this go together? We disagree on some of the regulations. There was one in Indiana where was it Indiana? It was someplace. I don't remember who passed it.
Indiana or Iowa, one of the
two. It was one of them. You can go look it up.
It's not completely passed. It's passed the House. It's got to go through their Senate.
Okay. Where they were talking about restrictions on how you could manufacture e-juice and the requirements for your facility to do that. Okay. I'm not opposed to regulation for facilities to do that. I think they should be ISO certified. I think that they should have to comply with the same standards that all the other manufacturers who are turning out products that are similar to this comply with. So I'm really not opposed to that. Okay. I know you are. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, counter argue the problem that people have with this is it contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive substance. Okay. What's another commonly available addictive substance that's not under regulation?
Okay, well, it is under regulation because coffee is under regulation.
Caffeine. Okay.
You can't manufacture coffee in your garage and sell it. You can't do it.
No, but you can go to Starbucks or any other coffee shop and they can custom make your coffee for you right there and put 30 shots in a cup this big in an unclean environment that you will consume and introduce into your body. It is not made in a clean room. It is still an addictive substance that is sold to minors. I walked into a Starbucks the other day, early in the morning on my way to work, and there's 12 and 13-year-olds in there ordering quadruple shots cup of coffee on their way to middle school. I mean, okay, so let's play Jekyll and Hyde here.
I understand. I understand, and that, quite honestly, I get. I understand that we do things that don't always make sense. But the fact of the matter is at the end of the day, nicotine is one of those substances that is regulated. The Food and Drug Administration has had the authority to regulate it for a very long time. I don't see that is such a crisis because, quite honestly, some of the juice manufacturers, I've tasted some horrible juice and then found out where it was made and was like this. Yeah. Oh, hold up.
Horrible is not the rancid is a better description for it.
So I understand, and I understand because I've done the review for a store juice versus a premium juice versus an artisan juice, and why I call them that thing because I know that is not an industry standard. Okay, that is my take on how you're putting these blends together and what the final outcome of them is. Okay, now I have noticed, however, that people are referring to artisan juices now. They're like it's an artisan juice, and it actually is because of the blending and steeping process and when it arrives to you and how long it's actually been been setting before you actually get it.
Yeah.
So that I agree with. There's complexity of juice. You can go back and watch that video.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so yeah, I don't know. We're going to disagree on a couple of things, and that's going to be one of them because I personally do not have a problem with it. And I think that big tobacco getting into the fight only helps us out.
Well, I'm not saying that it won't help us out or will hurt us, but there are some potential concerns down the road.
Yeah.
So, that's just the way I look at it. We have to try to look at as many angles as possible before we move forward and say, hey, come on over.
Well, they're already over. I mean,
before
they bought in.
Before they're welcomed over.
Mm.
Okay. So
before you go out hugging people.
Yeah,
good
exactly.
To see you.
Yeah. Hey man, good to see you. Good to see your face hole. Yeah, it doesn't. I've got some concerns, and granted, those concerns are way down the road, but nonetheless, they're concerns anyway.
And we'd like to hear from you. This is an ongoing conversation. It was started. Well, I don't actually know who started it. I heard about it by watching Grim Green's video, and so I don't know who actually started the discussion. I know that he said he stumbled onto some information because he was going through and looking up stuff, and actually just kind of stumbled into finding out that some of these tobacco companies have actually purchased vaping companies.
Well, actually, I came across another YouTube, and I'm going to post the link at the bottom. I came across another YouTube about why they hate us, talking about vaping, coming from California. In a nutshell, there was an agreement between the big tobacco companies and the United States government that says, hey, you owe us this much money for the damage you've done to
the American public, yes.
to public health in general. And in order to keep selling your products, you have to give us this money. Well,
yes.
Like over in California said, hey, we've got a really good idea. They're going to make the payments in installments, so let's go out and buy bonds.
Yep.
And they went out and bought bonds, and then vaping came onto the scene, and sales of tobacco went, okay? And all of a sudden, the tobacco companies weren't getting the revenue from their sales to pay the states. The states went and got bonds on, and now that they're not getting the money from the big tobacco companies, the states are going, oh, shit.
Where's our cash?
Where's our cash? We're in danger. So that's that was I think that was part of the initial reason Big Tobacco was fighting. Well, it was all about the dollar, and they were like, "Oh shit, we can't.
Where's our money coming from?
We're not able to make our agreements as promised, so we're having some problems. So let's fight these guys." And now pharmaceuticals jumped in on it and throwing their billions of dollars on it, and we're caught in a crossfire because now the state wants to get their money, so they're going to tax it more. They're going to create regulations to push it out of the market, so everybody's forced to go back to traditional tobacco. It's pretty interesting. It's two-part. I'll get the two links and I'll post it on the bottom down below, so you can make your own judgment and come to your own conclusion on it. But it's kind of eye-opening. You're like, oh, okay. For you conspiracy theorists out there, you will love it. I guarantee.
It's about following the cash. It's about following the money.
It's about following the money.
I actually know that one. I know the one you're talking about, and
two-part series.
I've seen that one as well.
It's very well thought out. And
it's not just thought out. I mean, you can draw the line right back to it.
You can draw the line, but it made me sit there and go,
But see, that's the thing, and that's why Big Tobacco's buying in, because they've seen, okay, this is the future, and we can get rid of, because Big Tobacco, it's not a secret. In case anybody thinks it's a secret, it's not a secret. Big Tobacco has been trying to find a way to actually get nicotine delivered to the system in a less harmful manner for years, okay? Yes. It just took somebody else to figure out we had the technology to make it small, okay? Because this is not a new thing. The concept is not new.
You remember several years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, they were trying to develop a traditional tobacco cigarette that did not burn.
Yes.
They spent
boat tons of money
trying to develop a combustible cigarette that does not burn. Okay? So,
which is an oxymoron.
yeah, exactly, which I thought was kind of funny.
Combustible doesn't burn.
Yeah, and then about, what, 7 years ago or so,
What was back in?
the cigarette manufacturers were required to put this additive in the paper that prevented it from burning all the way down.
It would burn out.
So it would burn out. So when you chunk it out the window like a buffoon, chunk your lit cigarette out the window into the grass and create a grass fire to help prevent wildfires and stuff like that. Well, the stuff that they keep adding to it causes more damage to us, which
Because it's more chemicals.
it's more chemicals,
Yeah.
which cost you boat tons of money when you get sick from it, and it affects everybody. So I mean, the reason
it affects the price of the product and the whole.
well, I'm just when I say it affects everybody, it affects public health, it affects the health system, everything else. It come up with new diseases that we didn't have then that we do have now. I'm not saying that's a definitive link, but that's how this stuff starts.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could go on and on and on.
Yeah,
about
we could sit here for hours and talk about this.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, okay, the discussion that I'm hoping to propagate to move forward, okay, is literally, is it a good idea to get big tobacco in on this setup? Is it beneficial to us in the vaping community to stick our hand out and say, welcome aboard, I'm glad you decided to make the decision to move away from analog and into a digital product because it's a better product. It's less harm reduction, All of the research that is coming down the pipe continues to support our stance. And for the guys that kept screaming, you're going to get pneumonia and you're going to drown and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. See, they're still standing there, okay? And here we are with new research constantly coming out on almost a weekly basis that supports our stance, okay? No, this is not going to be settled next week, okay? It's going to take years to get this downrange, and there's going to be some people that we're never going to get on board with this. And I relate that to the 5-year-old discussion. I had it pointed out to me, okay? And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It's like having a discussion with a 5-year-old over a fig Newton. You ready? So the 5-year-old, you have your fig Newton in your hand, okay? And you walk over and you go, would you like a fig Newton? And the 5-year-old goes, that's a pig Newton. And you say, no, it's a fig Newton. And the 5-year-old says, no, it's a pig Newton. And you hand the 5-year-old the package and it says fig Newton. And the 5-year-old goes, it's a pig Newton. You're not going to convince the 5-year-old it's a fig Newton, ever. Because they're 5. You're having an argument with a 5-year-old. Stop it.
Yeah. That's a decent analogy. We're not using it to insult, but it's a decent analogy.
Yeah, I'm not insulting 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So if you're a highly
We're not
insulting 5-year-old,
insulting anybody here, but it's a good analogy. It's when you've got that kid that's in that Y stage, you're not going to win that argument. Just
ever. It's not going to happen.
it's not.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You
It's
can
not going to happen.
water. You cannot make them drink.
That very, very well said. But yeah, we could just go on and on.
Yeah,
about
we
this.
could.
Yeah.
This is going to be like a 5-hour.
No,
we're going to
it's not.
stop because we'll just keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
So activism. What do we have for activism from CASAA going on?
Oh, I'm glad you did that. I just pulled up an email from CASAA. Yeah, exactly. There's 2 things. There is a call to action here in Texas on Senate Bill 97. It's not that bad, but the wording in it severely limits. Well, here's according to the CASAA. I'll read it to you real quick. It's calling for an amendment to Senate Bill 97. It's on the move in the House. Still contains language that would severely limit adult access to vapor products via online sales. Also, advertising restrictions for its opponents for violations would crush small businesses. The link will be posted in our comments down below. This one, it does impose some harsh restrictions on internet sales that could potentially
Harm the business.
Well, harm the business, but potentially increase costs significantly for online sales, which is not cool. The second one CASAA, there's an FDA call to action on submitting comments for their second workshop on e-cigs. That link will be posted below as well. They're inviting you to write your personal thoughts, comments, experiences to them so it can be presented. All the instructions are on it. And this, you have until July 2nd, 2015 to submit comments. But yeah, they're both important. Those are the big ones right now here in Texas. That they're well, one in Texas directly affects us. The other one affects us everybody. So,
and there's a lot more. I mean, each state has their own little thing going, and you should try to get involved if you're in those states, so that way people know that you're out there. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we do vote. All right?
Yes, we do.
I vape, I vote. That should be a slogan.
It is a slogan.
Is it a slogan?
Yeah, I see.
I don't pay enough attention.
I see window stickers and bumper stickers all over the place. Says I vape, I vote.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. That's the way it should be. So that's pretty much what I've got. Like I said, the links will be posted to these two for both of the calls to action. If you're not a member of CASAA or freetovape.org or ESPATA, Smoke Free Alternative,
the Vaping Militia.
Vaping.
Those cool. Those guys they've got a great sticker.
My point is, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people out there that are supporting us and trying to help us. They're feeding us more information than we can actually take in.
Yes.
To be honest with you,
which is why we try to post links.
I get daily updates, and I'm like, oh, good grief, more. So if you're not a member, sign up. It's free to sign up,
and then you can be informed too.
Yeah, then you can be informed too. Come to our side and help us fight this thing. So basically what it comes down to is we want to be able to have, as adults, we want to be able to have choices and options and be free to make them and not have us cost a mortgage payment.
Yeah, because that's not beneficial.
Yeah, it's not beneficial to anybody. It's just drive everybody back to the cheaper tobacco, and we're right back where we started.
Pretty much.
And I'll be honest with you, I like being tobacco free.
I do as well.
I really do.
I do as well. All right, that's what we got, guys. This is Hawk.
This is Tori
coming at you from H&T. Peace on you. Remember, subscribe, hit the like button. Tell us what you think. Send us some comments. And if you want to discuss something or you have a question, don't forget we do have the Q&A section. We don't have any questions right now, so obviously we didn't answer any, but we do have a Q&A section. So if you got a product and you're running into an issue, just bump us, let us know, and we'll see what we can't figure out. If it's something that we know about, we'll give you the answer to it, and if it's not, we'll go find it. So peace on you.
Yes, we will. Keep vaping, guys.